Coming up next, the Bookening discusses how you like done cow. Hey everybody, my name is Nathan. I'm your humble and obedient host. Yeah, in my brain I think that was like how you like dumb apples, but I turned it into how you like done cow. I don't think that that's a series of mental associations that anyone else was really going to be able to follow, except for maybe.
I didn't follow it, and yeah. I can follow some of your wilder associations, but not that one.
Well, my name is Nathan. I am your humble and obedient host. We got Pastor
me.
Jacob Metzel.
Yep, that's me.
Everyone's favorite Windows operating system. You remember me?
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, man. Windows 95 was pretty great.
Windows 95 was a state-of-the-art, wonderful operating system. For whatever reason, my family always did the opposite of what was right for all my growing up years. Like, we had Apple like when Steve Jobs was on the fritz and they hadn't figured it out, before the iMac, before the MacBook, before iPhone. Like, we had Apple kind of in that weird, well after that, you know, so the 1984
the two times that
commercial.
You maybe ever wanted to own Microsoft was 95 and maybe XP.
Right, exactly. And in 95, we had Apple. And then I suppose we probably had Microsoft by XP. I remember XP, but I specifically remember ME. I remember putting up with ME for a while. So we sort of cycled through and would just follow the trends exactly the wrong way.
Off.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We sure did miss out for the last 5 years on Microsoft.
Yeah. This Microsoft Millennium is going to be great. That's what ME stood for, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was the Millennium Edition.
Yeah, the Millennium Edition. So... yeah, that is neither here nor there. I feel like I had another interesting, entertaining, or informative thought about old operating systems. Oh, I was just going to say we were a Nintendo family and not a Sega, Genesis, or PlayStation family.
Yeah,
we jumped a little later in my life.
We jumped from Nintendo to straight over to Sega and then stuck with PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, we were...
And then I never pivoted to Xbox ever, although some of my little brothers did.
I've probably held an Xbox controller in my hand once. I mean...
I played it some in college. You had to play Halo in college with some friends every once in a while, but I wasn't ready to learn a new system or buy a new system or anything like that, so I just sort of checked out on video games.
Well, I've said this many times on and off mic, but I feel like there's a generational gap between me and my younger brothers, me being a millennial, and I suppose they're probably millennials too. I don't know. I don't forget where the dividing lines are. They might be Gen Z. But I cannot, my brain doesn't really work Halo-wise. The double joystick, like, I didn't quite make the leap to that. I like side-scrollers. I like Mario bopping along and jumping on bad guys and stuff like that.
I'm much more comfortable with the side-scrollers. I think the PlayStation helped me out, so I can still play some modern games, but definitely there's still a gap between me and my like even just from a psychological standpoint, like my family almost all of my gaming happened at my mom's house where we had like the family console. Mm-hmm. And by the time and at my dad's house we didn't have a console at all,
right? Because
video games. It was just the way that my parents were. But by the time I came back from college after my freshman or sophomore year, my brothers had TVs and consoles in their rooms.
Right.
At my dad's house. It was just like the switch happened. It happened fast. It happened while I was in college. It was too late for me.
Yeah.
So
I've decided not to do that to my child. The classic.
Don't do it.
No. I'm putting a TV in her room already.
I see.
What I'm not going to do is, I'm going to be the better parent and keep her away from, and then just give up like halfway through, which is what every parent ever has done.
Not me.
Yeah, besides Jake.
It's not true that we didn't have a TV for the first, I don't know, first half of our marriage.
Mm-hmm. And you certainly, if that was true,
We
you
did.
still
We did.
wouldn't have.
We had a TV in our bedroom, but not in the living spaces, for sure.
Well, you know what happens with people who don't have TVs? They just end up watching stuff on their laptops.
Yeah.
Or their phones. And if they
Well,
don't have-
back then, streaming wasn't as easy or ubiquitous. It would have been like I remember. So we had a Netflix DVD subscription for a minute, and then actually the convenience of Redbox was a big deal for a little bit before streaming kind of just became so easy and nice, high quality.
Yeah.
And then when you could pick and choose and be your own curator, then it was much easier to have it be in our living room again.
Well, and we're teaching Theo early. She's got her little bouncy thing. We set her down in it. We've tied different remotes that just dangle there. She's got 3 or 4 screens.
And
we
iPad.
got HBO over here, Netflix over there, Hulu over there. We want her to
Where's
be
Disney
fully.
Plus?
Yeah, she doesn't care that much about Disney Plus. It's a little
beneath her.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was gestation. That was 9 months in the womb. Disney Plus,
yeah.
and now she's beyond it. Yeah.
Well, quite frankly, she has a good reason not to like Disney Plus because when the water broke, we were watching Mulan, not the classic '98 version.
Oh, the crappy live action version.
The one where she summons her chi and then beats everybody up, and it's the most terrible thing that anyone's ever put to film.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and so that was actually what made Theo like, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be part of this. So she kicked that water loose, or I don't know how water breaks, but that's the true story. Meredith's. I'm actually sort of being serious. Obviously, I'm not being serious about my 4-month-old daughter having any kind of media diet, but I do have this vague notion that I'd like her to be media savvy, and that means I have to find a godly way to lean into it as opposed to lean away from it. I mean, and I'm not even making a generalized statement about all children. I'm just saying my kid, I'm going to want to share those things with her. So better figure out how to, but then I also want her to like books and stuff. So I don't know. What should I do? Jake, you've got lots of experience.
Read to her a lot as a kid. And I think keep her away from the screens for the first several years of development, and introduce her slowly, but keep it casual and low key. And
Loki, like only show her
Marvel's Loki. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, that'd be great. It's hard, man. It's hard figuring this stuff out, but good luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, she has to develop a love for the written word, and that's not going to happen if she just has 24/7 access to screens. So, I mean, maybe there's a reason that every parent makes the same stupid, we're not going to do TV. And then around the time their kids get to be teenagers, they just give up. Maybe that's the right time to give up. I don't know. I mean, I'm being hyperbolic, people. I don't mean give up, but, I'm describing a common sort of thing. I never played nearly as many we didn't have video game systems when I was a kid, but then my brothers, just like you said, they had video game systems. Dun cow. Speaking of games, Jay and Katie, who are cold and love cheese, are maybe playing a game with us because they asked us to read this book, and they may regret that game. Or Jay already reached out and said, I might regret this game that I'm playing because maybe you guys will just stomp all over this book and be your nasty, he didn't put it this way, but I think he basically meant be your nasty, sharp-tongued, eviscerating selves to this book that I kind of like. And so maybe I should not have asked you to read this.
What do you think about that?
I don't think we're going to be our usual nasty, sharp-tongued, eviscerating. I mean, but
are we usually nasty?
Yeah. I mean, we once said that C.S. Lewis was less than the greatest man who ever lived.
Oh, that was pretty nasty of us.
And we didn't like Wrinkle in Time. And
maybe we should do Wheel of Time sometime.
Oh, shoot me.
Yeah, people love it.
I know people love it, but
adults love it and come back to it. I mean, we have a mutual friend that just finished Wheel of Time, and
We've got more than one mutual friend that's read them, and I've read several, so I'm not...
I've not read any. I don't know anything about it.
Listen, the investment to nutrition ratio is a little bit thin on that one. I mean, you're talking 14 books or something like that, and they're all behemoths, and you're going to get less of anything useful or beautiful or transcendently entertaining even than you would out of, say, a Harry Potter book or any number of fine entertainments. I mean, it's fine. I get people just like to get lost in those worlds, and Robert Jordan created a big old world for people to get lost in, and I have some sympathy for that. I guess that's an okay way to.
And then he touched the pine needles, and
then he touched the pine needles and the bridge. Did the bridge blow up? Did he actually do his job?
I think he did his job.
Did it work? I mean, of course he did his job. He's a Hemingway hero, but did the sharks eat the marlin, or in this case, did he actually get the marlin to shore?
I think he got the marlin to shore.
There you go. Did we say that Brandon's not here?
We did at some point. Whether or not it's in this take or not, I have no idea.
Brandon had a minor work emergency come up. Minor in the sense that his office isn't flooding, his children aren't on fire, but major in the sense that he won't be joining us today. And he's fat.
Mm-hmm. We were lying last week.
Yeah. When someone's become as morbidly obese and you can't even stand to look at them anymore, you just start saying that they're thin.
Yeah. Try to speak it into existence. It's the only thing that's left, right?
Try to speak it into existence.
Just repeat the affirmation daily.
You know what
Brandon
I should say?
Thin.
Brandon is thin. Yeah, me and Jake are big on affirmations. I mean, if you've ever wondered how we got to be so successul, megawatt.
It's the daily affirmations that we say to ourselves in the mirror.
Daily affirmations, yes. I just this morning I was saying, Brandon won't come. Brandon won't come. Brandon won't come. Look what happened.
Yes, he spoke into existence.
Hey, speaking of Brandon, I just want to make it very clear that I said a number of things because Brandon made the comment that Sophie and Howl's Moving Castle reminded him a little bit of his wife. And so how could one not make the jokes that, Brandon's wife is like the negative aspects of Sophie? I mean, if somebody said, Jake reminds me of Thanos, and they just meant because he's muscular, obviously you'd say he wants to destroy half of humanity and is purple.
And also his chin.
Greatest analogy in podcasting award goes to Nathan right now.
Ding, ding, ding. You won.
Yes. What's that? Yep. I'm just getting a text from the Podcasting Commission. I won. Best analogy in podcasting.
It's really great. Good job. Woohoo. Hey, our work here is done. I think we should just shut down the show.
We can't do that. We still have to talk
I think
about
you need to apologize. I think you actually need to say,
Yes,
Anna,
that's what I was
sorry.
trying to do. Yeah, Anna, I'm sorry. You are a wonderful person. You are not, I don't even want to repeat them. You aren't any of the bad things that Sophie is, either spiritually or physically. And man, I'm such a goober that it sounds like I'm being insincere as I say this, but I don't know how to say it in a way that sounds more sincere. Anna, you are wonderful, and you've been very kind in loaning us Brandon all these years, and we love you. And, you've always been a big supporter of the show. And by the way, folks, I'm not saying this because I heard anything about Anna having bad feelings or reaching out or anything like that, or because Brandon was like, hey, Nathan, because Anna's cool and probably wouldn't do that. But I just felt bad. So if anyone was tempted to think that Brandon's wife is, in fact, a ugly old hag, she's not at all.
True.
Quite the opposite. So there you go. Dun Cow. How about Dun Cow?
Hey, fun fact about Dun Cow. It's written by Walter Wangerin, he wrote it here in Evansville, Indiana. He's a professor at University of Evansville, professor of literature and Lutheran pastor here in town for a really, really long time. He's not here anymore. He's up at Valparaiso, but yeah, for a long time, he lived in Evansville. That's where he wrote Dun Cow. He's professor of literature here at University of Evansville. And there's also a fun story about Tim Bailey and his wife planning to come down and join some kind of commune or intentional Christian community with Walter Wangerin and another guy at some point. But apparently Wangerin wigged him out. So
Wangerin wigged him out. I can't imagine why. He seems like such a spiritual guy.
That would have been back in like the 70s or something like that, I guess. Or maybe early 80s, or I don't know.
Now, he comes from the more liberal strain of Lutheranism, correct? Like, he's the bad Lutheranism.
I don't actually know. I don't actually know. I think so. Oh, yeah, because we were talking with
our good friend and patron, Anthony.
The Artful Anthony Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Was actually here in town, passing through, visiting us on a bourbon with some friends. Stopped by Evansville, right on the river there, Kentucky border, and Kentucky, famous for its bourbon. So stopped by and actually told us he was embarrassed that somebody like Walter Wangerin bears the title of Lutheran pastor. So
That's right. And explained that there are two streams, and Wangerin is definitely part of the liberal.
I've always known that the Missouri Synod Lutherans are among the very best Lutherans, and Evansville has a lot of Missouri Synod Lutherans, the more conservative stream, but I don't know what the name of the other synod is, but
yeah, and it's
he must belong to the other synod. So
let's see.
I think he's the Evangelical Lutherans, which I did know were bad.
Yeah, probably. It's
ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Is that it?
I mean, it's not like the Wikipedia editor thought that it would be useful to ELCA. No. Yeah. Outspoken bio. Yeah,
he's an ELCA pastor.
Yep. There we go. Yep.
I remember now. Put it together. So, anyhow, just a fun little Evansville connection for you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Evansville has a couple claims to fame. We have the ball stadium where they shot the Women Don't Cry in Baseball movie.
A League of Their Own.
Escaping me right now.
Yep.
And somebody that I'm friends with has a Tom Hanks story.
I have Tom Hanks and Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell stories and stuff like that.
Right.
Around here. Some of them do, at least.
Yep. The best Tom Hanks story that someone told me is that their dad or somebody was working as an extra on the movie, and they said to Tom Hanks, "I love all your movies." And Tom Hanks cocked an eyebrow and said, "Have you seen Joe versus the Volcano?" Which is a pretty charming thing for Tom Hanks to have done. And then what's our other claim to fame? Rami Malek went to one of our universities.
He went to the University of Evansville. There's some famous athletes that have been from Evansville. The set pieces for Roseanne were filmed in Evansville.
That's right. Just the kind of boilerplate shot that they'd go to of like the outside of her house and
her house
bar and stuff like that.
The bar, and then the church, the Roman Catholic Church that they go to, because those creators are from Evansville. And there's some other stuff like that, but yeah.
In any case, Walter Wangerin came here and was here and taught and did things, and yeah, there you go.
He wrote Dun Cow here. That's all.
Wrote Dun Cow here. Yes, one of the most momentous literary events. I'm just trying to make Jay more scared.
Evansville people are so proud of it that I didn't even realize it until somebody else told me. So,
well, I mean, I walked into the local coffee shop and they saw I was from out of town, and then they said, "Hey, did you know Wangerin wrote
Dun Cow
here?" And I was like, "Whoa!" Are you
Mind
serious?
Blown.
Mind blown right now.
And prime for the next great bit of literature to be written here.
Yeah, that's right. Dun Cow Part 2. I'm working on it right now. There's always a crowd of
sequel,
like thousands of. What's that?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he wrote 2, but I'm doing like a soft reboot. It's like what's the new Star Wars called?
The Adventures of Cockatrice.
Yeah, I'm doing The Adventures of Cockatrice. Rise of Cockatrice. what it's
called. Visions.
This book is pretty good, I think, and I think I like it, but it's also pretty fun to dunk on. So have patience, Jay, because we are going to eventually, over the course of a few podcasts, get to sing some nice things about this book, I think. Although it was weird. I don't know. Well, Brandon's not here to provide context. I guess we'll do this backwards. He'll do context next time. But
I think I just did. I think I provided all the necessary context right there.
Yeah, he wrote it in Evansville. You can
That's
go
all you
down
need to know.
the house where he wrote it, it's usually mobbed by fans.
Thousands of people. Yes.
Thousands of people taking selfies. It's
Posting
annoying,
it
actually.
on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's
tourist destination. You got to be careful driving around there because it's kind of like an international hotspot, and people don't really know the way to act in Midwest.
Yeah, not to be racist, but you always got the Japanese dun cow fans with their cameras and
making peace signs
making peace signs.
The European ones, though, I mean, they can all speak English for the most part, so that helps. But you got to watch, like around there, people might be driving on the wrong side of the road, so just be careful.
Yeah, no, well, it is such a great industry, though. It's kept this town afloat. Wangerin fans just come through.
It's all we have, really.
Right. Yeah, you can sell your little knickknacks. Every gas station has its little dun cow keychains and.
Well, fun fact: the house that he grew up in was bulldozed, and so there's like fragments of brick and wood and drywall that you can just get at various places across town, and you have to be really careful about being sure you get something that's authentic. Because it's pretty easy to fake that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, the amount of fake.
I'm pretty proud of myself for keeping a straight face.
Me too. The amount of fake dun cow merch and Wangerin stuff, and I mean, people will sell you a shirt that Wangerin supposedly wore, or a Gatorade bottle that he drank out of.
Well, and what's most interesting is that there are a bunch of chicken farmers around here that claim to have the true line of the chicken that inspired the rooster that inspired the stories. So
yeah, well, I've been in Evansville now for almost a year, and I still haven't seen the bones of cockatrice. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
Me and my wife. I mean, we've been meaning to go. It's hard to get tickets, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, they get expensive. Tom Hanks couldn't even get tickets when he was here filming A League of Their Own. So.
Yeah, they read it. They let in Madonna because
there are like pictures on the internet of her posing with the bones of cockatrice. But
yeah, I didn't feel like
they didn't really let Tom Hanks. They didn't give him a pass. So.
I thought that Madonna could have been, a little less. She didn't really need to do her whole Madonna thing with the bones of cockatrice.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Pretty weird. The people of Evansville kind of hated her for that. There was like this thing at Roberts Stadium, which is now gone and destroyed, where Evansville people wrote like Madonna and with a big circle with a line through her name, and like you could take it. The news took a picture from the helicopter from the sky and stuff like that. You can find that. That's because of some of the poses that she took with the bones of cockatrice. So
yes,
it's very disrespectful. And I think that explains why Tom Hanks didn't go or didn't use his celebrity status to get at the head of the line. I think he probably tried to buy a ticket and just couldn't get through the lines. He went through like a normal person.
Yeah, Hanks he understands that the bones of cockatrice are a much bigger draw than he would ever be, and he's not going to try and step on that. He's a classy guy, and yeah.
You know what? If you are a patron, I am going to be sure that you see this image that I'm telling you about. We're going to put it behind the paywall. Mm-hmm. I'm sending it to Nathan right now.
All right. Let me see here. Yes.
That's the wrong one. Hang on 1 second. There you go.
Okay. Oh, yep. There you go.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Is that a people?
Yeah. Yeah.
People formed a giant Madonna and crossed it out. And it was all because of the way that, yeah. Well, this is all true. I know people think we were making some kind of a mocking allusion to the relative obscurity of, no.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, there was actually, it was just voted down by the stupid liberal city council, but we were going to change the name to Wangaria. Was actually
we were. And we also had a referendum to redesign our city flag, and the city flag was going to have just a big rooster on it. And me and Nathan and Ben, we all voted in this thing, and we voted for the rooster. But I think probably most people did. But I think most people think the vote was rigged. So then we got some dumb communist Muslim looking thing.
Yeah, it is actually quite dumb. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see if we can swap out a few city council members and Wangaria will be a reality.
Yeah.
We have won a lot of battles. The capital of the city, the courthouse is called the Mondo Cunny Courthouse.
Yep. The Mondo Cunny Courthouse.
And we've got the Walmart has actually been called Worm.
Walmart's not allowed to brand itself as Walmart in city limits. So you can be in the county and be Walmart, but in city limits, it has to be Worm. Mm-hmm. By edict of the mayor.
It's going to be exciting. You know, it might sound a little crazy, but when my second child, hopefully a boy or a girl, either way, they're going to be named Walter.
Yeah.
When they are born, they are going to love to live in Wangaria. I mean, my family calls it Wangaria.
I mean, that's part of why we moved here and wanted to plant a church was to get critical mass to rename the place.
Right. That's
really, let's be honest.
That's the main reason, really.
Yeah.
Like
all other reasons are subordinate to that.
Yeah.
Is that picture amazing?
That picture is amazing. So folks, this really is and I will put this on behind the paywall, patreon.com/the Bookening. It is a bunch of people crossing out, forming Madonna's name out of humans, one of those hands across America kind of things, and then forming a big crosshouse. And what did, I guess we can admit, we may have been exaggerating Walter Wangeren's influence on Evansville a little bit. But what did Madonna actually do to make the people of Evansville so angry?
She was just a nasty person while she was here and did an interview with like TV Guide or something like that, compared it to Prague. And yeah, so I don't know, something like that. People remember Tom Hanks fondly and thought he was sweet, and people liked, he was just probably what you would expect of Tom Hanks. He was just sort of a man of the people while he was around and around town and that sort of thing. And Madonna was too good for everybody, or everybody projected that onto her. And she said some nasty things in interviews. So
yeah, to be fair to Madonna, would you really have it any other way? I mean, isn't that kind of what people want from Madonna at the end?
Yeah, exactly. She's playing to type in that sense. Like, so
she's a star at that time, especially. She was a star
she was a big
with
deal.
a capital S. I mean, she was arguably, short of Michael Jackson and I don't remember who else would have been big at that exact time, but Madonna would have been like the biggest.
You can even imagine her PR reps staging the whole photo thing in the first place, right? Like,
yeah, she's not supposed to go somewhere and not make
comments and not make a splash.
And impression, and
yeah, people. She needs to be in the local news for something. Like, it just always in the press, always in the cycle, always finding a way to be in the news cycle and being protested here or there, and going to some small, mid-sized Midwestern city and ruffling feathers is just the way to do that.
Right. Well, and Madonna is nothing if not the prototypical person who's thoroughly in charge of her own press. I mean, none of these things happen outside of her control.
Yep.
So, in any case, when this city is finally, when all our plans come to fruition and it is rechristened Wangaria, Madonna will be begging to come and play here.
That's right.
But
she won't get a spot on the stage.
Yeah, no, she's the ugly old hag at this point. No matter how much plastic surgery she pays for, she is not welcome in Wangaria.
Yep.
Jake, what baggage did you bring? Book of the Dead Cow.
I didn't have any baggage. I had no associations, no mental associations, barely familiar with the name of the book. So I just kind of came hoping, expecting something fun and hopefully not too farmhousey. And it wasn't that. It was
whatever else you want to say.
Way more mythologically cool in that sense. But that's about it. I really didn't have anything else.
Yeah, I had some associations because I'm trying to remember. Did he write a book called
I think I probably grew up with him writing like a column in the Evansville Courier or something like that, a religious column, but not enough to register for me.
Didn't make a impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the year 1996, everybody's favorite year. Independence Day came out. The Book of God came out, which was Walter Wangerin's The Bible as a novel. So it was kind of, he just took the Bible and made it into a novel. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. He, filled in some details and stuff like that and rewrote it novelistically. And somebody, I think probably my mom or dad, got me that book for Christmas because Nathan likes the novels and stuff, and it's the Bible as a it's the kind of it was the kind of thing that I would have been given for Christmas. And I remember feeling the fact that it was the kind of thing that I would have been given for Christmas. Like, oh yeah, you think you can dissect me with this blunt tool, kind of thing. That feeling. I'm sure, Jake, you had your own, you're the sports kid. So here's this lame thing that combines sports and Jesus or whatever. There's always that kind of thing that you got to love parents and grandparents. They're trying their best. I don't, as a kid, I was kind of looked down on it. Now it's just like, well, what were they supposed to give me? But in any case, I remember this book.
It's not sports and Jesus, but it's like your grandparents know you like baseball and baseball cards, so they go to some store and get a whole big bag full of rejected cards for cheap. Right. And there's a whole lot of baseball cards that all suck and are off brands, and what are you going to do with them but throw them away? But they're being sweet. They're trying.
Aunt Elizabeth is at the used bookstore and she sees like the book of baseball stats or something like that.
Yeah, from 1987.
From 1987, and you just end up with a little collection of whatever the thing is that you've been defined as.
Yep.
And which is fine. It's Aunt Elizabeth trying to be nice, and it's,
doing her best. Yeah.
Yeah, people doing their best. So
I always look back on that stuff and feel bad and sad.
I just hope that I was kind and acted excited, and I don't trust that I did. Yeah. But I hope that my whatever better nature I possessed at that time won out. Over.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was probably at least polite, but hopefully I was polite in this way where I actually gave the impression that maybe I was excited, because I feel bad about the idea of someone caring enough to, oh yeah, Nathan likes such and such. Here's the lame thing. And then me not.
Do you have anybody in your family that was always a perfect win that you just like
their gift giving was always perfect?
Yeah. Like everybody else could try and fail and whatever. But if you went over to Uncle Joe and Aunt Sophie's house, you were going to get something cool, something legit cool. And you even came to trust that, well, I don't know what this is, but I know that it's cool.
Right. Not like that. I mean, there were people, you knew that this set of grandparents was the money set of grandparents, and there were things like that, but I don't know that I had just Uncle Bob, he gets it kind of thing. I take it you did.
I did, yeah. I still do. My kids still get like as a parent, it's like I look and I think, well, I see people trying. I think things have changed some where mom and dad get to provide a little bit more direction here and there and make sure actual cool things happen. But there's always going over to this one house, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be cool. And my kids are going to come away with some really cool things. Mm-hmm. So it's neat.
That's cool. Well, Shout out to those people.
Aunt Teresa and Uncle Mike.
Aunt Teresa and Uncle Mike. Shout out to Aunt Teresa and Uncle Mike. I know they're steadfast listeners to the podcast. So in any case, I got this, The Bible is a Novel, the Book of God, and I think was genuinely intrigued. Like, oh, I wonder how this was. And we were the kind of, we were not the prototypical, but we were a typical plugged into the evangelicalism of the time. We got the magazines. Christianity Today was around kind of family. I mean, we were kind of on the dark outskirts of that, but I saw that stuff around. Christianity Today would have been more like at my friend's house kind of thing, or World Magazine, if people know what that is. So I was aware, or certainly the Christian, Zondervan and the Christian Booksellers Association, CBB, and these different catalogs and stuff were around. So Walter Wangerin was a name. The Book of God got a lot of press. It was one of, for whatever reason, you never quite know with these kinds of B-listers why certain books are the books that the publishers decide to put all their chips on. But Book of God was one of them. And I guess the Bible as a novel just seemed catchy, and they were hoping would be kind of sticky or whatever. And for all I know, it was. But in any case, I ended up with this book and really didn't like it. I don't think I finished it, but it was just like, well, this is kind of like reading the Bible, but he's added more detail, but it's fake detail that isn't really adding much. What he didn't do actually was take one story from the Bible, like say David and Goliath, and just develop a whole novel. You could see, you could argue about whether that would be a good or God-honoring thing to do, but you could see how somebody could do that entertainingly. But what he did do is he took us through from Abraham all the way to Jesus and hit all the highlights and filled them in with some fake novelistic detail. And it was just like, this isn't doing so much to bring it to life, quote unquote, that I'm happy and feel like I'm reading a novel, but it's also detracting from what I'd be getting out of it if I was just reading the scripture. So I was just kind of confused by it. And that is my big baggage with Walter Wangerin. I thought that he was kind of confusing and full of himself or something. But yeah, I'm looking at the cover of the Book of God right now, and it says, from the National Book Award winning author of The Book of the Dun Cow. So I guess Dun Cow is like his big...
It's his big thing.
His big thing. I don't remember much about Dun Cow. I know the people that know it and grew up with it, and it was like a touchstone for a lot of people. It wasn't for us, for whatever reason. I feel like I ran in those circles or was adjacent to those circles enough that it could have been a touchstone, but I didn't really remember it was a thing until we were reminded by our patron who asked us to do this. So that is my baggage with Book of the Dun Cow. Like I said, Brandon's going to come and do context next week, but do you want to get any big thoughts about this baby out there? This episode has been entirely on point the whole time. You know what? I apologize for nothing. This is a fine, entertaining episode of the Bookening.
I had a lot of fun. I'll say this. It's a lot of fun. It has some of the best action in any book we've read outside of maybe Dune.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be kind of awful in how it ends from a sort of a moral standpoint, but also really enjoyable just the same. And I don't know. It's a fun conceit, I guess.
Yeah, I was thoroughly enraptured by it. It drew me in. I get why people like it. I get why Jay wanted us to read it. I'm glad that I read it. I liked it. I'm not convinced that if I thought about it for a long time, I might not decide it was another Till We Have Faces or something like that. Like the symbolism and the moral conceit of the whole thing is so weird and feels like it's so close to being true, but also is just that deadly 4% off, very C.S. Lewis style. And at the end of the day, I wasn't sure that all the mystical elements didn't just appeal to the worst side of me. So I have very mixed feelings about it. I mean, on a most basic level, I enjoyed it. It kept me turning those pages. And like you said, it had good action. I mean, I thought of one other thing that is actually more analogous in its action and might be better, but is at least in the same ballpark, which is Rikki Tikki Tavi, which is, with Dune, maybe one of the only other great action stories we've read on this podcast. Trying to think what other action we've even...
I mean, maybe some isolated scenes from War and Peace or Anna Karenina.
Yeah, if Brandon was here, he'd say, what about the battle scenes in War and Peace?
I was just channeling Brandon, that's all.
Yeah, those aren't
What about
really
the horse
action
race?
scenes.
And
the horse
that's
race.
Not really...
Vronsky's, yeah.
Yeah, I can't really, just off the top of my head, pull the story of the wolf chase.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. That's more of a horror scene, really.
It is. It's less an action scene, but things are happening quickly. So
yeah, well, for that matter, the final demise of Dracula is got lots of horses and guns and knives.
Yeah, but I would say in the battle with Cockatrice is about as engaging an extended action scene that I can think of that we've had.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's just really cool. Really well done.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to ladle on the gore, which is kind of interesting. But, I mean, he's not excessive or vile about it. But
no, I don't think it's bad.
It's just bloody.
In that sense.
Like it would be. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we should litigate this thing anymore without Brandon. You got any more?
I think we should wait. I think we should call it good. And see people next week. We'll do some context, and then we'll litigate the book.
Litigate, yep. Jake's favorite word. He's always
using that word.
Always using it, making us say it.
Yep.
Okay, well.
It's in Nathan's contract.
Yeah, it actually is in my contract.
If he doesn't say it at least 3 times an episode, then he's fired.
Yep. And if Jake doesn't say it at least once an episode, then I get a $20,000 bonus. So it's
just how it is.
That's should we have gotten more litigation when we made this deal? Yeah, probably.
Possibly.
But we never claimed to be litigators. We just litigate everything. Boy. Okay. Jake, what part of Wangaria do you think that Robert and Rhonda the Lovebirds should live in?
They should probably live in the giant chicken coop downtown.
Yep. Arguably a waste of the taxpayers' money, but
arguably.
I mean, we bring in so much tourism, though. What are you going to do? We're Wangaria.
The city, it kind of works like a sort of hostel for people coming to visit Wangaria. So, I mean, the city may lose a little bit of money on it, but it's a driver of a revenue for the city to have free lodging for all the people who are coming to visit Wangaria and spend their money on souvenirs, bits and pieces of the house, and that sort of thing. Eggs that may or may not be directly descended
by the way, if you've seen the studies, you can build
inspire the story.
You can build like 14 mansions from the pieces of Walter Wangarian's house, quote unquote, that they've sold. It's a sad. Some of the industry, it's like some people don't even really care about Book of Duncow. They just care about the money they can make off of it.
Well, and arguably the police are in the hands of in the pockets of certain fake Wangarites. So,
yeah, fake Wangarites. Those guys, man. If we could drive them out of town, where do you think the artful Anthony Dodger should live?
On the porch with Mendo Cunny.
Yep. Little Anthony's cigar store could clean up here. I mean, there's nothing that people in Wangaria like better than cigar. The immortal Chelsea E.
I mean, pretty much everybody you say is going to go in the chicken coop one way or another.
All right. Well, let me just list a big bunch of
and I'll just say chicken coop a bunch of times instead of Frankenstein.
Yeah, sounds great. Jimmy Beam and Little Annie Oakley, Lily of the Valley, Andrew and Esther the Lovebirds, the Keith Matthews, James Men Trucking.
It sounds more ridiculous than saying Frankenstein. Chicken coop.
Katie were cold of cheese. Also C.S. Lewis.
Some kind of
including Till We Have Faces.
And auctioneer.
Yeah.
Very going to be
Wonder and Having His Mother.
Somebody should sample this and make it into a song or something.
Why hasn't anyone sampled us and made us into a song? Come on, Warhorn Media fans.
Yeah, come on, guys. We got talented musical people out there.
You've drawn pictures and stuff.
Chicken coop, chicken coop.
Console Prime Adam.
Chicken coop.
Nathan, I'm
chicken coop.
Benny and Dana Tiberius.
Chicken coop.
Race Professor and Lady X.
Chicken coop.
Lavender's Green. Dylan.
Chicken
coop. Chief the Prayer and
Chicken coop. Chicken coop. Chicken coop. Chicken coop.
Jeffrey the Texas Ranger.
Rachel. Chicken coop. Rachel.
Midnight Ninja Ellen.
Chicken coop.
Return of the Jedediah.
Chicken coop.
Joy J. Rack and Ruin. Timothy the Writer's Zone. Eric
Chicken
Keith,
coop.
Camp Champ Kings. For Warm and Love Beast. Maddie Matman. Sweet Jamie Sunshine.
Chicken coop.
Laura the Keeper of Eternal Light. Cold Steel Cody. Jacqueline the Librarian. Barbarian. John Bobadilla. Bomb Diggity. And Captain Tino's mate. Saxophone Alex. The other saxophone Alex. Dubstep. Danny Ryan. The Tire Texas. Eric of the Cream Gibson, who no longer are stuck in the cold. Please send she's Ben Solo. Kyle Ren. John the Cosmic.
Chicken coop.
Chaos.
Chicken coop.
Yeah, that's true. Good call. Matthew the Mind Flayer. Annie, are you okay? Get your gun. Play the Valerie. Thor. Ragnar. Josh. Stephen. Pegalodon. Christopher the Flower Hole. Lady of the Flower. Crystal Lake. Ian the Death. Marianne. Lord of Death. A man in possession of an Emily is one of nothing.
Chicken coop.
Emily Nightshade, the Haunter of Dreams.
By the river.
Not in a van.
Not in a van. Just down by the river.
Boy, I hated myself when I said not in a van just now.
Mhm.
But I thought that somebody had to fall on that grenade.
Everyone appreciates you doing it. You are the hero, the worthy one. Somebody give him the super soldier serum.
Somebody give me the super soldier serum. All about the Benjamin.
Chicken coop.
Our old/new friend, the mysterious Phantom. Now a supporter of the show. Remember?
What? Worm's Hole.
Worm's Hole.
The wormhole.
Yeah. If you've never gotten a drink at the Wormhole, then you're missing out. That's like the highlight of Wangaria. You can get with some clever portmanteau of cockatrice and cocktail.
The cockatrice tail?
The cockatrice tail. Yeah, that's delicious. You can, I don't know. I'm sure we could name other punny drinks from the book of the Dun Cow. But
we'll save them for the next episode.
We'll save them for the next episode. All right. Thank you for listening, folks. And what can we say? But you're welcome. Another week of
high quality content.
Hey, being a little sarcastic because it wasn't exactly literary content, but
come on. This is going to be one of your favorite episodes of all time, guys.
This
if you listen to it, just admit it.
This was a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm pleased. In your face, Brandon. We love you. Come back to us soon. Goodbye.